The sky above the planet Zyra was not like any sky humans had ever seen.
Swirling clouds of violet and gold stretched across the horizon, and stars shone brighter than anywhere on Earth. Ships of every shape and size glided silently through the atmosphere, leaving trails of sparkling light behind them. Each one carried warriors, leaders, and powerful beings from every corner of the galaxy. They all came for one reason: to meet her.
Her name was Zyra. She was unlike anything the galaxy had ever known.
Tall, graceful, with eyes that shimmered like liquid starlight, she carried an aura that made even the strongest aliens bow in respect. Her word could decide the fate of entire worlds, and her choice could make or break civilizations. And today, the galaxy waited for her decision. "Everyone wants me," she said softly, her voice like the echo of distant music.
"But do they deserve me?"
Thousands of beings had gathered in the grand arena, a massive floating platform that hovered above the planet's shimmering surface.
Ships landed one after another, each more impressive than the last.
Aliens with armor that gleamed like diamonds, weapons that hummed with energy, and wings that spanned the width of a small moon stepped forward, each hoping to catch Zyra's attention. Among them, one figure moved cautiously, almost invisibly.
He was human. Liam.
He was small compared to the towering aliens, his body fragile and unarmed. His skin was pale, his clothes simple, and his hands untrained in combat.
Most of the beings in the arena did not even notice him at first. Humans were not meant to be here. They were weak, ordinary, and easily forgotten. Yet, Zyra noticed him.
From her high throne, she leaned forward, her gaze sweeping across the crowd. She stopped at Liam. A tiny human, standing with wide eyes, looking at the magnificent aliens around him. Something about him caught her attention, not his strength, for he had none, but his courage.
He was not hiding. He had not run. He had simply stood there.
Interesting, she whispered to herself. The arena erupted in noise as the first challenger stepped forward. A massive alien with 3 heads and arms like steel swung a giant blade in a display of raw power.
Fire shot from his eyes as he roared, hoping to impress Zyra.
Around him, other aliens showed off their abilities, some created storms, others shaped fire or ice, and a few moved faster than light.
The crowd cheered at every display. Liam watched, feeling both fear and awe. He had no weapons. He had no powers. All he had was his mind, his instincts, and a heart that refused to break under pressure. He had been a simple explorer back on Earth, never imagining he would stand here among the galaxy's most powerful beings. A sudden hush fell over the arena as Zyra raised her hand. Every alien froze, even in mid-action.
She spoke, her voice carrying across the platform like a wave of light.
"Let the trials begin," she said. "But remember, power alone will not win my favor."
The aliens laughed, confident in their strength.
Liam's stomach churned with nerves. Power alone would not win her favor? What could he possibly do? He had nothing. The first trial began. It was a test of skill, agility, and wit.
Aliens zipped through obstacle courses, dodged deadly traps, and manipulated energy to overcome challenges. The humans in the crowd gasped at the impossible feats.
Liam struggled, narrowly avoiding falling into traps or being swept away by alien technology. Every step felt like a miracle. Yet, something strange began to happen. Zyra's eyes lingered on him.
While the aliens moved with precision, they were predictable.
They relied on power. Liam relied on thought, on creativity, on quick decisions. He stumbled, yes, but he adapted. He survived when others thought he would fail.
Curious, Zyra murmured, tilting her head.
"This one, he does not fight with force. He fights with something else." The arena shifted as the next challenge approached. Aliens brought massive machines, weapons, and shields.
Some even called on entire armies from their planets to impress her.
Liam had none of that. He could only watch, calculate, and think. Then came the moment that made the crowd gasp. A trap collapsed under the weight of the aliens' arrogance, sending shockwaves through the arena.
Massive blasts of energy threatened to strike anyone in their path. Liam had no shield, no armor.
But he saw a small gap, a narrow safe path, and he ran. Step by step, he made it through, barely avoiding disaster. Zyra clapped her hands lightly, her eyes sparkling. Brave, clever, human, she whispered, almost to herself. The alien sneered, noticing her attention on him. A human? He is nothing, one growled. Why do you watch him? But Zyra only smiled faintly. Sometimes, the smallest flame lights the darkest night, she said. The day continued with more displays of strength, more trials, and more chaos. Aliens fought for attention, showing off their might, their intelligence, and their wealth. Liam continued to survive, relying on courage, cleverness, and quick thinking. Every time he stumbled, he learned. Every time he faced danger, he grew braver. And through it all, Zyra's gaze never left him. As the sun of this alien world began to set, painting the sky in shades of deep crimson and violet, Zyra stood from her throne. The crowd fell silent, waiting for her words. Every alien, no matter how proud, held their breath. She walked slowly to the edge of the arena, her eyes fixed on Liam. Everyone fights for me, she said, her voice calm and clear. Every soul, every warrior, every conqueror, they all wish to stand by my side. She paused, letting the silence grow, letting the anticipation build. But I have seen something different today. Something unexpected. Something human. A murmur ran through the arena. Aliens looked at each other, confused and angry. How could a human, a weak, ordinary human, even be considered? Zyra's eyes met Liam's. For a moment, time seemed to stop. His heart pounded, fear and wonder battling inside him. He did not know what would happen next. He only knew that he had caught her attention, something no one else had managed to do. Tomorrow, Zyra said, her voice carrying like a gentle storm, the trials will continue. But remember this, sometimes, what is small can change the course of the universe. And with that, the arena fell into darkness, the ships departed, and the galaxy waited. For the first time, a human had captured the attention of the most desired being in the universe. And that human was Liam. The arena was quiet, but not peaceful. Smoke from yesterday's trials curled across the glowing floor, twisting like ghostly fingers. Aliens whispered in dark corners, their eyes sharp and calculating. They were restless, anxious, and angry. Above it all, Zyra's gaze swept the arena, calm and almost unreadable, but it landed on Liam more than any other. He stood in the center, small and human among towering aliens, feeling the weight of every pair of eyes. Every muscle around him tensed, every mind seemed to measure him, waiting for him to fail. And yet, Zyra's eyes followed him unwaveringly, as if she could see inside him, past fear and weakness, to something deeper. No human should even be here, muttered an alien lord with scales like molten metal. And yet she watches him. Why? Liam clenched his fists. He had no weapons, no armor, no special powers. He only had his mind, his courage, and the strange determination that had brought him this far. He swallowed hard and stepped forward. Today, they will see that strength alone is not enough, Zyra's voice echoed across the arena, clear and commanding. The first trial began. Massive platforms rose from the ground, shifting and spinning, creating a labyrinth of traps. Aliens darted across them, leaping over laser grids and dodging energy blasts. Liam followed carefully, each step measured. He stumbled more than once, almost falling into a pit, but he adapted. When a trap snapped shut in front of him, he ducked, rolled, and used a loose panel as a bridge over a gap. The aliens were astonished. Power alone had carried them so far, but this human survived with nothing but wit. A tri-headed warrior snarled. How is he still alive? He is a human, another growled. They are weak. He should have fallen by now. But Zyra only watched, leaning forward slightly. Curious, she whispered to herself. This one, he does not fight with force. He fights with something else. The next trial was a puzzle of moving lights and energy fields. Aliens activated glowing devices, shaping the fields with their power. Liam hesitated, studying patterns, thinking quickly. He noticed a rhythm no one else saw and moved just in time, stepping through the shifting barriers as if he belonged there. The crowd gasped. Even in moments of chaos, Liam noticed others in danger.
One alien stumbled into a trap, and instinct made him grab a falling platform to save them.
The alien looked at him in surprise, unsure how to react. Zyra's eyes sparkled. Clever. Brave.
Human, she murmured, almost to herself.
But the trials were not without danger. Some aliens, furious at a human surviving, began plotting against him.
Hidden energy blasts, shifting floors, and traps set to target only him.
Each time, Liam used logic and instinct to survive, improvising in ways the aliens could not predict.
They attacked with brute force.
He responded with quick thinking.
They relied on strength.
He relied on heart. By midday, the arena was filled with tension.
Aliens were growing desperate, their whispers sharp with anger and suspicion.
She watches him more than any of us, one hissed. How can she even consider a human?
Zyra stood from her throne, her presence commanding silence.
She moved closer to Liam during a moment when the crowd looked away.
Do you understand why you are here? She asked softly.
Liam shook his head. I think it's just a contest. But I don't understand why you notice me.
Her lips curved in a faint smile.
Most only show power. You show something different. Strength is obvious, courage is common, but what you carry, it is rare. He blinked. I'm just me.
Exactly, she said.
And sometimes, that is enough. The final trial of the day was announced, a test no alien had expected.
The arena transformed into a perilous battlefield, with shifting platforms, collapsing bridges, and rivers of energy that could incinerate anything they touched.
Aliens rushed forward, confident their power would carry them through. Liam hesitated, assessing the chaos.
The first wave of energy streams burst around him.
Aliens leapt, flew, and manipulated energy to survive.
Liam ran, dodged, and jumped, relying on timing and observation.
Each narrow escape was a calculated risk. One false step, and he would be gone.
An alien tried to block him, sending a wave of energy to push him off a platform. Liam ducked, rolled, and used the alien's momentum to launch himself to a safe spot.
The crowd gasped. Another tried to trap him with a collapsing bridge. Liam noticed a small gap and ran along the edge, balancing perfectly.
Zyra watched from above, clapping her hands lightly.
Brilliant, she whispered. He survives not with strength, but with mind and heart. By the end of the trial, most aliens were exhausted, their energy spent, their pride bruised. Liam stood, panting, but alive.
He had survived where they had failed. And for the first time, the arena felt still, quiet, as if the universe itself was holding its breath.
Zyra descended to the center. Her gaze was fixed on him.
Everyone fights for me, she said, her voice carrying over the hushed crowd.
Every soul, every warrior, every conqueror, they all wish to stand by my side. But I have seen something unexpected today. Something small. Something human. The aliens whispered, angry and confused. How could a human, so ordinary and weak by their standards, earn her attention? Liam's heart pounded. He didn't know what she would do.
He only knew he had survived, against impossible odds, and somehow, that mattered.
Zyra smiled faintly.
Tomorrow, the trials continue. But remember this, sometimes, the smallest flame lights the darkest night.
A hush fell over the arena.
Aliens looked at each other with disbelief.
Humans, thought to be weak, were capable of more than anyone had imagined.
And one human, a simple explorer named Liam, had captured the attention of the most desired being in the galaxy.
The arena dimmed. Ships lifted off into the alien sky. And the universe waited.
For the first time, a human had a chance to change the course of the galaxy.
The next day, the arena was alive with anticipation.
Thousands of aliens had gathered, their eyes burning with pride, anger, and disbelief.
Whispers filled the air, a human survived yesterday. How is this possible?
Liam stood at the edge of the arena, muscles tense, mind racing. He had no weapons, no armor, and no alien power.
But he had survived everything so far with something no alien could imitate: courage, creativity, and heart.
Above, Zyra watched from her throne, her gaze calm but intense. She had seen every trial, every moment of bravery, every clever choice Liam had made.
And now, the final challenge awaited.
"This is the last trial," Zyra announced, her voice carrying across the arena. "This test will reveal who is truly worthy, not by strength, not by weapons, but by spirit."
The arena transformed. Towers of energy rose into the sky, shifting and twisting in impossible patterns. Lava-like rivers of glowing energy split the floor into floating islands. Aliens readied their powers, their machines, their armies. They were confident this was a contest they could dominate. Liam looked at the battlefield. It was chaotic, terrifying, and overwhelming. He took a deep breath and stepped forward. The first obstacle was a collapsing bridge over a river of energy. Aliens jumped, flew, and shaped energy to keep balance. Liam's heart pounded, but he studied the bridge, spotting a narrow ledge along the edge. Step by step, he moved with careful precision, avoiding the deadly flow below. Next came a maze of shifting platforms, some disappearing, others rotating. Aliens tried to blast their way through or fly above, relying on brute force. Liam, however, noticed patterns in the movements. Timing each step carefully, he navigated the maze, barely touching the edges, using nothing but his wits. Then came the final test, a massive energy storm, pulsing with destructive force. Aliens tried to push through with shields, weapons, and magic. Most failed, falling, or being swept aside. Liam hesitated for a moment, then closed his eyes and ran, not into the storm, but through the paths between the pulses, counting the rhythm. Step by step, he moved, dodging death with nothing but instinct and courage. Zyra's eyes widened. No alien had survived this storm, and yet, Liam pressed forward. She clapped softly, a faint smile on her lips. "Clever, brave, human," she whispered. "You have survived what none could endure. And yet, it is not survival alone. You have shown something more." The aliens, seeing Liam reach the end, were furious. They could not understand it. How could this human, so fragile, so ordinary, stand where their strength had failed? Zyra descended from her throne, walking gracefully to the center of the arena. The wind of her presence silenced the crowd instantly. She stopped before Liam, her eyes glowing like stars. "Every warrior, every conqueror, every being in this galaxy fought for me," she said. "They brought power, wealth, and fear. But I have seen what truly matters." Liam's chest pounded. He could hardly breathe. Was this it? Had he done enough? She extended her hand. "You, human, have shown courage, wisdom, and heart. You survived where all others failed. And for that, I choose you." A shockwave of silence ran through the arena. Aliens froze, jaws dropping. They could not believe what they had just heard. Zyra, the most desired being in the galaxy, had chosen a human. Liam felt his knees weaken, but he held himself upright. The eyes of the galaxy were on him. He stepped forward, accepting her hand, feeling the impossible truth sink in. Zyra's smile widened. "Do you understand what this means?" she asked softly. Liam nodded, barely able to speak. I think so. Thank you." "Not thanks," she said. "You earned this. Never doubt what a human can do." The aliens erupted in whispers, some angry, some awestruck. Humans had always been underestimated, considered weak and ordinary. But here, in the heart of the galaxy, one human had proven them all wrong. Zyra led Liam to the edge of the arena, where the sky burned in shades of violet and gold. "The universe is vast," she said. "And there are challenges yet unseen. Together, we will face them." Liam looked at her, at the world, at the impossible journey he had survived. He smiled. For the first time, he felt truly powerful, not because of weapons or technology, but because of something far stronger: courage, heart, and the belief that even the smallest being could change the course of the universe. And so, the human had won. the galaxy had witnessed a miracle. For the first time, a human was not just surviving among aliens, he was chosen by one of the most powerful beings in the universe. As the arena faded behind them, Zyra and Liam stepped forward together, ready to face the stars and whatever adventures awaited. And somewhere in the galaxy, whispers spread. Everyone fought for her, but she saw the true strength in a human.